Well, staying with elections but shifting to Russia, where voting is underway in Russia's presidential elections on the first day of a ballot that will be held across 3 days. Incumbent Vladimir Putin is all but certain to win against 3 challengers, none of whom has criticized him. Putin's popularity is also high amid strong support for Russia in their conflict with Ukraine. Putin's approval ratings is currently 86%, up from 71% shortly before the invasion of Ukraine. This is according to Levada Center, that's a Russian pollster. Well, voting is also underway in the Ukrainian regions annexed by Russia. Russia-backed head of Donetsk region, Denis Pushkin, cast his vote in the ongoing elections. While many of the residents of Donetsk region participated in the polls, Ukraine has expressed their dismay regarding these elections. Voters in Crimea also took part in Russia's ongoing presidential elections. But for more on the story, we've got Dasha Chernushova joining us live from Russia as people there vote. Russia, good evening. Let me begin by asking you, as Russia votes over the next 3 days, how does Russia's elections matter?
Well, obviously, it is an important legitimizing exercise for the Russian authorities as it is seen by the international community. But domestically, it is an important opportunity for the Russians to exercise their civic duty, as President Putin has put it forward. So we understand that the turnout by this hour has exceeded 7% nationwide. We have seen people coming to the polling stations like this one here in the Russian capital, all pretty much in a positive mood, saying that they do have to come here and to cast their ballot, but they also have an opportunity to do that online. This is one of the novelties of this presidential election. It is not only being held not just for 1 day but for 3, but also online, and we understand that many have used this opportunity. At the same time, we understand that voting is underway in the so-called new territories of Russia, where people have an opportunity to both come to the polling stations, or they have had a chance to cast their ballot with the mobile teams coming to their houses. It has been criticized by some of the international community, but as we hear from the observers who have been commenting to the Russian media here domestically, they have not reported any major irregularities. Another important issue is obviously that Russians do say that they want to continue with the stability they have seen in their country over the course of the past years, and that's why we understand the approval ratings of the incumbent presidents are very high. The turnout is expected to reach 70% by the end of the 3rd day of the voting, and obviously the incumbent president Vladimir Putin is expected to win this election with a vast majority.
Well, Dasha, the European Council boss, has taken an aim at Putin even though voting has just begun.
Well, obviously, in the Western countries, the election is expected to be criticized. At least Moscow has always been saying that indeed they understand the Western countries are trying to interfere with the election. We've heard from the head of Russia's foreign intelligence, Sergei Narishkin, saying that the Western countries are trying to decrease the turnout to later put in question the voting here. But what Moscow insists on is that it is the democratic exercise of the Russian people. They do have a choice. There are 4 candidates on the ballot. So Moscow is saying that everything is in line with the international norms. There are international observers. There are cameras in almost all of the polling stations. And that's why Moscow is saying that all the criticism coming from the Western countries will not be regarded or taken into account here domestically.
We leave it there. Thank you and appreciate you joining us. Dasha Chernushova, DD India's correspondent there, joining us from Russia.